The Graphic Histories Podcast.
I got bit by a radioactive bug. I tried an experimental drug. Went up for a stroll on a gamma testing range. I found an enchanted hurricane. I made a serum that made me small. I modified the serum so it would make me tall. Radioactive isotope in my eyes. A dying alien helped me accessorize. I gained the proportion and strength of a spider. Now I'm invincible and I can fly. I lost my sight, my other senses were heightened. I'm gonna put on my pajamas and go fight crime.
Hey there, and welcome to the Graphic Histories Podcast. I'm your host, Andre Mayette. Big thanks to Uka the Mock for our theme song, Superpowers, and big thanks to you, gentle listener, for tuning in once again. Do you hear this voice? Do you hear it reaching out from the echoes of time, from the long vanished past? It's here. It's back. It's me with another episode. It's a Christmas miracle. You have a new episode of the Graphic Histories Podcast to close out 2025. Has been a bit of a break, not necessarily intended, but due to life. Through a series of events, I've come to be the interim executive director of a theater. It's been taking up a lot of performing arts theater. It's been taking up a lot of my time, but it's been great. I really love the work. It's really cool, and I no longer am interim. I am now the executive director, which is very cool. So it's a full-time job, and I'm there. I'm doing it on top of all the other crazy stuff I do. But great people, great environment. Staff's amazing. The board's really lovely. It's a wonderful environment, and I'm really liking it, liking the work, and really digging into it. But because of that, I've been busy, and busy means I've had to let a few things slide. And unfortunately, this was one of them, and I am very, very sorry. But we are back and hoping to get. You know, it might be a slow start in January, but we'll be back with new episodes. I'm going to try to adhere to the weekly schedule. It may not work out that way, but hey, I'm still out there. I'm still doing it. We're still here. So we're not gone yet. And we have a great episode today, and a really, really good one. This one is cooking. He cooks. And it's with Nick Edwards, who is an independent comic book writer, working on comics like Stiletto, Gatorman Kills, which is the one that's in the Kickstarter right now, which you can get into right now. It's already met its job, but they could always use more money. There's certainly a love of independent comics out there, and Nick is beating the drum and writing some really cool ones. We have a really, really cool conversation about horror, about comics, about art, about heaven, about hell, and we get philosophical, as we often do in the show. I always kind of jokingly say that an alternative title for this show could be The Weeds, because we often get lost in them, which is good. I think that's the whole show is the weeds, getting lost in the weeds. So, but because it is comic centric generally, we kind of, I think graphic history still works. Let's stick with it. But yeah, it was a really good conversation. Nick and I really click, and he sent me some. We do talk in this episode, I believe. I don't know if it was after the mics are off or not, but that. He would send me some scripts, and I'd take a look at maybe doing some art for him in the future. So not that I have enough on my plate, but it might be something cool to do for a fun project once I get rid of a few of the others that I have on the go. So maybe that could happen. This could be there could be a collaboration happening right now. You could be seeing the future, Edwards Mayette collaboration that's going to result in a multi-billion-dollar Marvel movie. Who knows? It could be happening right here. It could be witnessing history. Well, as you know, in previous episodes, when we get around Christmas time, I like the holidays. I love the holidays. I have a really good time, shopping for friends and family and decorating, and I love all that stuff. So it's been a great holiday season so far. And yeah, I'm hoping that you are going to have a good one. I hope you and your loved ones are together, friends, family, chosen family, whatever you got. I hope they're all together and you get to enjoy the holidays with them. And also, while taking that time to enjoy it with your family, if you got some time in the drive, at the gym, going for a walk, whatever you got to do, if you got to get out and listen to this episode. So here is my conversation with Nick Edwards.
Yeah, happy to be here, man.
Awesome. Where are you calling in from?
New York City.
Ah, New York. Excellent.
Yeah, so, and I live in like Midtown Manhattan, so if you hear like sirens or car alarms or whatever, that's just kind of how it sounds all the time. But just like let me know if you need me to like mute myself if there's too much background noise, or if you need me to like do something again or something.
Oh, no problem at all. That's just the sound of New York, eh? That's the
Is yeah, that's just what it sounds like.
I've been there once. I was coming back from Las Vegas, and they routed us there, and then there's something wrong with one of the planes, and we ended up having to stay the night there, me and some friends. So it was like
Yeah.
I don't know, like midnight when we got to the DoubleTree that they put us in, and then we're like, well, we got to go to downtown, like once you're gonna have a chance to see New York, right? So I was floored with how it was like 1 in the morning, I think, when we got there, and it was like just like insane amount of activity, like nothing.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean, I live, I live on Ninth Avenue. I'm literally 2 blocks from Times Square, and yeah, it's just any time of day. There's just always something going on, man. Where are you?
Canada,
Canada. Oh, nice. Which part?
Nova Scotia.
Okay. Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
So just
That's great.
yeah, so not like a little further up the coast, or on the same coast.
Yeah, yeah,
Li-
definitely.
Little
Awesome.
yeah, yeah, no, I love it. Yeah, I don't like weather-wise New York, it's pretty similar to here. It's probably just getting a bit below zero now for you guys. Is it?
No, not quite. It's right with Fahrenheit. It's gonna be like it's been in like the 40s
Okay.
lately, which is a little bit above. I'm terrible at converting Fahrenheit to Celsius, but a little bit above zero. Not quite there yet.
I'm not great at it either, so don't worry about it.
Yeah,
Um, somewhere around, I mean, it's been -3 here, so in Celsius, so today, right now at this moment. But the days have been decent, so
yeah, that's good. That's good. And then you guys are a couple ticks colder than us right now.
yeah, I guess we're a
But
little further north.
yeah, and New York, I learned, was just like this year reclassified climate-wise as a subtropical climate.
Really? So you rarely go below zero then?
Yeah, so I'll say this. This is gonna be my third winter here since I moved here.
Hmm.
Um, it gets cold for sure, but like I will say I was expecting a lot worse. The winters have been milder than what I was anticipating, honestly. And then on the inverse too, the summers have been warmer. I'm from Texas originally, so
Hmm.
one of the several reasons why I moved up here was I was hoping to leave some of that hot weather behind, man. But like it followed me. It's here.
Yeah, well, it's your fault then. So
I know. Yeah, I brought the heat totally.
you're to blame.
Big time.
What was growing up in Texas like? What part of Texas were you in?
In the Dallas area,
Okay.
you know how like Texas is known as like the Lone Star State, right? And
Hmm.
it's got the one star on the flag and everything.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
I'll let you in on a secret. The one star is actually a review. Uh,
Ah,
yeah, don't call it the Lone Star State. Call it the One Star State.
oh, that's funny. I like
I
that.
can't, not an original. Can't take credit for it, but it
Yeah.
is pretty funny.
Well, they got like Texas seems to have some interesting, like when you kind of like look at the state itself, or I guess in the various cities, it seems like depending on where you are, it depends. It's like you can either be super, you know, I don't want to get into the political spectrum, I guess, but like super, conservative-ish as far as like their values go, and then
Oh yeah.
you get like what's the city keep whatever weird?
Oh, Austin.
Austin,
Yeah.
yeah, so keep Austin
Yeah.
weird, and that one seems like a haven for art types from what I hear. So it just
It historically has been, but it's Austin is becoming this weird conservative mecca where like a lot of like tech companies and then Joe Rogan bases his headquarters in
oh, really?
Austin.
Oh,
So
I
it's
didn't know
it's
that.
become this weird magnet for like conservative figureheads too. But yeah, Texas is pretty much just like a series of like five or six blue dots and like a sea of, empty red counties, right?
Uh, that's unfortunate. It seems like it
Yeah.
always seemed like that was kind of like I always liked that idea of it, that like even in a place that seemed, stereotypically to be fairly closed-minded, that there was some bastion of creativity that was in the middle of it that was still operating.
I mean, I do feel like, like I don't know if there's any large metro area in the country that's not blue, right?
Mm,
Like
yeah.
it's almost as like a rule, it's all those like surrounding and areas and everything, which is neither here nor there. But no, I mean, like, yeah, Texas, I mean, it was fine. I like growing up there, I grew up in like the epitome of like white suburbia.
Mhm.
So, it was childhood was fine. I wouldn't call it the most exciting or anything like that, but it was a nice enough place to grow up, but I was ready for something different.
Yeah. Well, what
Mhm.
was were comics part of your childhood? Was that with like growing up? Is that
Oh
what?
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, do
yeah,
you remember the
yeah.
first? What was the first?
Oh, I remember the first specifically.
Or the
It
ones that
was
got you into it, I guess.
no, well, the first comic I ever got was Amazing Spider-Man Volume 2, number 41. My mom bought it for me before a swim meet, and so I still have that issue. She wrote my name on the top corner of it.
Aw.
And it's not like a major key or anything
No.
like that, but it'll always be my first comic, right? So I'll always love it. But so my parents would take me and my sister to Half Price Books a lot. Do you know what that is?
Mm.
Okay,
No.
it's a chain of bookstores down here where they will like resell used books and stuff for cheap.
Okay.
And
That's funny. I feel like I may have bought some from there before in other places. Like I believe I've seen the
okay,
sticker on stuff, and I always just kind of assumed it
I'm
was, yeah, like a half price book from some other place. But
yeah,
I remember noticing a few that had a matching logo, and I was like, that's interesting, and I never put two and two together. So
yeah.
I'm an avid
Ha
book person, so I generally, come across a lot of them. Yeah,
me
yeah, I
me
know.
too.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
have a
yeah.
library in my house that's a couple rooms away. That's just it's too crammed at the moment, so I have to go through
Hey,
and
that's a
pare it.
good problem to have,
It
right?
does kind
To
of feel
to
like wandering into one of those weird like used bookstores where it's just too crammed, and I kind of like that, but it's also like kind of a nightmare to find stuff. So
you need your own like Dewey Decimal System or
yeah,
something like that.
yeah, I do. I have to figure out some kind of system. Usually, it's like, well, I know it's in that general area somewhere. There's
Yeah.
like a pile of books. Yeah, the Stephen King ones are over there. I think the philosophy's on that one. I don't know. So, yeah, I have to figure that more than just on my memory system, which isn't great.
Huge Stephen King fan, by the way.
Oh, beautiful.
Uh, yeah, he's the best. But yeah, Half Price Books. My parents would take me and my sister there when we were like little kids,
Mhm.
and it was awesome. They don't do this anymore, but they would have these like bundles of like 20, 25 random back issues of just anything and everything that they would like bundle together for like $4 or $5. So like we would go and I would just like get one each time we would go. And there was like so much good stuff in there, like old Uncanny X-Men, Amazing Spider-Man, Action Comics, like real like meat and potatoes
Yeah,
stuff,
awesome. That's
right?
fantastic.
Yeah, that was great. And so like, like any young kid, I'm just flipping through these books. I'm like, oh, these are amazing. The characters and the action and the drawings are so cool. And then so loved comics from a young age, back when I thought it was just the only thing comics could be were superheroes still.
Mm.
And I still love a lot of superhero comics today. But yeah, no, so that was the genesis for my love of comics. And then when I knew I wanted to make comics, when I read the Captain Underpants books, actually.
Really?
Yeah, those
Love
books
it.
are so good. But they're like about two kids who make their own comics, and
And
I
then
just
like
remember
brain damage their principal into becoming the lead character. Yeah,
sure, but
okay.
that's neither here nor there. That's
I remember when I
yeah,
somebody explained the concept of those to me because I assume you're younger than me. I'm 40. So
yeah.
when those books came out because they were long past my time. I remember someone explained to me what the core concept was, and I'm like, "Well, he's a big baby, isn't he?" And they're like, "No, he's a guy that believes he's this character because he hit his head or something." And I'm like, "What?" I'm
Yes.
like,
Yes, these kids make their own comics and they create the character of Captain Underpants and then they give their principal, who's a mean guy,
Mhm.
he gets like a traumatic brain injury and, and then like starts to believe he's this Captain Underpants character. But
I
like
feel like there's a dark indie film in there that
yeah,
could be made.
one day
Yeah.
we are going to get the dark and gritty Zack Snyder Captain Underpants reboot and first in line. Yeah,
Oh
yeah,
man,
yeah,
yeah.
I'll be there.
But like, I'll wait for the 4 hour cut that'll come out in
Yeah,
black and
yeah,
white,
yeah.
and yeah.
Totally.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool. But there's a lot of humor to those books, right? Which
Super
is some,
funny. Yeah.
yeah. Which I feel like is something that kind of gets lost a little, unless depending on the type of comics you're into. But I don't know. I always feel like comics shouldn't be afraid to be silly. And
Completely agree.
yeah,
And that's why so many people concern themselves with like canon, and like it's one of my least favorite words, honestly. I think it's so
really.
boring. Yes, yes. I think that's so boring because like the best comment, like, you've got your like iconic arcs, right? Of like Death Return of Superman, Dark Knight
Hmm.
Returns, Dark Phoenix Saga, like all like the like real iconic stories. But to me,
Yeah.
the best comics are like a one shot nothing issue where
Hmm.
like I think they're like one is like Luke Cage goes to Latveria because Doctor Doom owes him $200, and
Where's my money, honey? Yeah, that's what makes me.
yeah, exactly. Like, and that is so fun, and
Yeah.
so like, I don't know, uh, yeah, I do think the industry and the medium, and I mean, I guess if I'm talking specifically about like popular superhero comics in the West and stuff like that, but like can definitely be self-serious for sure, and
Mm.
I think it's comics are at their best when they can embrace the absurdity that just like kind of
Yeah.
comes with the territory.
And I've commented on this a few times in the show. I said like it feels like the movies have finally realized that. Like I said, it's nice that I really felt like with Fantastic Four and with Superman this year that like we finally stopped trying to apologize that they were comics
Yes.
and make them be like sorry that they were comics, but we'll make them cool and realistic so that you can assess them. But instead, like they kind of went the other way. They're like, no, this is like a bright, colorful, grit, like fun world where it's already lived in and you get to jump in on a new adventure and I was just like really happy we've arrived at that point. Like we've had so many years of hey, let's make it a geopolitical thriller instead of like hey, let's just have kaijus and you know the negative versions and ridiculous monsters and all this fun stuff. Galactus with a giant purple helmet stomping through New York. Like
Completely.
that's what I want.
Completely.
Yeah.
Yeah, that I want Galactus the size of an Empire State Building with
Yep.
his crazy Jack Kirby headgear
Mhm.
walking through the city and everybody's freaking out. I loved the new Superman movie. And somebody said this, this isn't an original thought, I can't take credit for it, but like it felt like you were watching like season 3, episode 4 of a show or
Yeah.
something. Like it
Yep.
really did like, and it didn't waste time with like,
Nope.
we got the title screen with the text and like that was it. And I loved that. And my favorite scene in the movie, and the scene that felt the most like a comic to me, was when he and Clark and Lois are like having their heart to heart, and in the background,
Yeah.
there's like that giant imp that like the Justice Gang is fighting.
Yeah.
And it's just like, and in like they're in this universe that they're
Yeah.
in this comic where like that's just Tuesday.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah. Yeah.
that's just another day. Like, oh, that's the thing. And that's perfect.
Yeah.
Like that's exactly how it should be. And yeah, I think we're getting back to there.
I
Like
actually even told a friend that like I was like I kind of wished when I first heard Fantastic Four was in another universe and it wasn't like in the core or whatever. I was like, oh, that sucks. I would like to see them mixing it up with everybody, which we're going to get to anyway. But I was like, after living in that world or seeing that world, and even just hearing him reference like Diablo and the puppet master and the wizard. I was like, oh man, like, I really want to see the wizard in this world, or I know there's like a scene with the red ghost they cut out, but that would have been cool too.
yeah.
But it's like I at the end of the movie, I was like, I just want to see more. Like, I'd be happy if they just made movies in this world with just them being the superheroes, and then whatever the villains are that pop up, Mole Man and all that stuff. Like, that'd be super fun. Like, let's just, yeah. But I mean, I'm curious to see what this whole thing will end with this new big event. But I've dug a lot of the like even like a lot of people shit on She-Hulk, but I thought it was fun. It was like very much felt like the John Byrne and like Ty Templeton comics that I really love. The Charles Sproul ones are great too. Like just fun, superhero lawyerdom, which is a blast.
It was fun.
Yeah.
Exactly right. And I think in our scene, in the comic scene,
Mm.
that I think people just can rush to negativity a lot of the
Oh yeah,
time. Like,
100%.
like, okay, was it the best show ever? No, like
No.
I didn't think so. But like we have a She-Hulk show. We're
Yeah.
living in a timeline where we've got three Ant-Man movies. Can
Yeah.
you imagine that? Like
Mm.
20 years ago? Like if I were to time travel back in time and say like, dude, we got a movie where Blade, Gambit, X-23, and Wolverine are fighting Cassandra Nova
Yeah.
with like like it's just amazing. There's never been a better time, I think, to be a
No.
fan of like this, these worlds and these characters and everything like that, just because there's so much out there. And again, that's why like I don't know. That's also why I don't like weigh myself down with like
Mm.
the what is the canon or whatever, because like just because we have something like let's say All-Star Batman and Robin, that doesn't affect my enjoyment of like Batman Year One,
No.
right? Like
No,
like
exactly. Yeah.
the
I
yeah,
mean,
and
comics naturally feel that way anyway. People just forget that. Like, whenever a creative team leaves the comic and a new one comes on, it always feels like we're starting something new. Because they always do. It's
yes.
rarely they pick up any threads from before. They're usually like start over because they have their own shit they want to do. So,
The cyclical nature
yeah.
of these characters, like we're like yeah, exactly. We're
But
never going to see the last Spider-Man story,
no,
right? Like that
we'll
they
see
will
a mini series that will do it, but then the show will keep going on.
then it can but then like that becomes people
Its
use
own
like
thing.
else
Yeah.
that yeah people use like elseworlds or whatever as a term,
Yeah.
but I just kind of almost view them like they're all their own thing. Like
Yeah.
exactly like you just said, these characters are a way for these writers and these artists to like express themselves and tell the stories they want to tell, and I think that is really really cool.
Yeah, and like I know it's certainly not a new idea, but many people have always said the comics are like the modern myths, like the Greek myths of the past, or yeah. So like, but the heroes themselves and even their characters are almost like, if you look at the Greek myths, you're like, well, this character's always the god of war is always angry and fiery, and then this character's always this. So like it's kind of the same way. Like Jimmy Olsen's always going to be a sidekicky kind of interesting character. Superman's always going to be what Superman is. Lois Lane's always kind of going to be a plucky reporter. And people subvert that in their own way because they want to either mix up what you're expecting or something to that effect. I mean, Zack Snyder just had Jimmy Olsen get shot in the head in the first 5 minutes of a movie.
Sure,
Yeah,
sure. Why
but
not?
yeah,
Why not?
but it's like to me, it's just like they're always kind of it's like those myths and stories grow with legend, and as time goes on, they become something else. And comics are just sort of like that. Like it really does feel that way. There are always, people always fit into their archetypes, and every once in a while, people go away from it, but they always kind of come back to it eventually. So,
Sure. And then like to take that analogy a step further and to tie it also back into the different creative teams thing,
mm,
you had Homer who did like the Iliad and the Odyssey and everything like that. And then you had Virgil come along with the Aeneid, right? Was that
hmm
yeah, yeah,
Yep,
that
that was
was that
Virgil.
was
Yep.
Virgil who did the Aeneid and like very much picked up on threads left off by Homer, but like told his own story with his own characters and everything like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
It really is like very very similar too. And then
That's funny
yeah.
because you just reminded me of that. I think I was thinking about that when it came to because many years ago when I was young and feeling pretentious, I read the Once and Future King. And then of course a lot of what's in that sort of builds on the Le Morte d'Arthur by Mallory. So like it just sort of like, it's kind of like someone reading a book and then taking the concept of that, adding it to their own way. And
Yep.
even recently I was reading about like, we have the movie Goodfellas, which is based on a book, Wise Guys. And then I believe there's a sequel book that was kind of written by, I don't know if it was written by him or the guy's wife that wrote the book. I can't remember, but it's sort of the story of like what the mob boss that's living in so it's basically a continuation of the character from Goodfellas who's now stuck living a suburban life in witness protection, what his day-to-day life is like. And a lot of people forget that that was a sequel book, and the main two movie was Steve Martin. I can't remember the name of it. But so in a weird world, there's like this drastic, goofy comedy that's sort of, Goodfellas sequel, but they're very different things, you know.
Sure.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
even books that are adapted, like you look at Elmore Leonard books and stuff, like kind of in the same world, kind of not. Like Justified is in the same world as like Jackie Brown, but they're like very different movies. So
Okay.
You know,
Okay.
it's
I
wild.
haven't read any of his book. I have seen Jackie Brown.
Yeah. Well, like
But
in the book doesn't take place in the 70s or the 80s. I think that was something that Tarantino did, but
okay.
yeah.
Okay. Nice.
So yeah, cool. Well, like after you're reading comics so much and getting into them, when were you always wanting to create them? Is that something you're doing as a kid as well?
Well, I mean, when I was like, yeah, when I was a kid, I definitely wanted to. And then, I don't know, life got in the way, went to college, got a PR degree,
Oh,
and then, started working out of school and everything like that. I always would just like excuses after
yep.
excuses of like just, not digging into it, not giving myself the chance even to take it seriously, really. And COVID came around, right?
Mm.
And that summer 20, well, it was shortly right before COVID. It was February 2020. I actually went to my first Comic Con
Oh,
ever.
cool.
And I met now one of my best friends, artist named Scott Beecher. He was set up with his indie label Unearthly Comics there as a vendor at this convention, and he just had some of his stuff on display. We were talking, and we decided to stay connected and everything like that. And then that summer, I was like, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna write something. So I wrote some scripts, and then I knew this guy, drew and printed comics, and so I sent some scripts his way, and he read them and he was like, "Hey man, these are really pretty good." And then he pitched me on this slasher character that he had created, who's this. He's called the Gatorman, and he's this big, scary, psycho redneck guy who wears an alligator skull on top of his head and kills people. And
Beautiful.
yeah, I know, awesome. And he had this idea for this like slasher story, Gatorman Kills, and he pitched me on it because he had the character sketched out, kind of a rough outline of his story, but he was just like, "What do you think about this?" And he described it to me. His quick pitch was Texas Chainsaw Massacre meets Con Air, and so I was just like, "That's money."
Where's the
Yeah.
Gator part? Is it in the South?
Yeah, so
Okay.
the story is about a prison transport flight that crashes deep in the Florida Everglades, and there is a small group of survivors that uh, you know are now escaped convicts, and they're looking for a place to hole up, and they find this old mansion deep in the swamp that's been seemingly untouched by man for years. And so they think like, oh sweet, we've found shelter, we found a place to at least hole up, catch our breath. We were just in a plane crash. Little do they know, this mansion is home to a horrific serial killer who calls himself the Gator Man and kills, as the title implies. And so that was
Yeah,
just,
that
and
sounds
that's
really
pretty,
fun.
it was super fun, man. And we both, Scott and I, both horror geeks.
No, me too.
We want,
100% me too.
yeah, it's the best. And we, wanted to make like an homage to like old school grindhouse type like slasher movies and everything. And so, yeah, so I wrote the script that summer, COVID summer 2020. Really started as a pandemic project, and then Scott started, drawing it and everything, and we kept in contact and kept just working through it and everything, and then we did a Kickstarter campaign for it in late 2021, and it went really well, and that was my first published work, and
Well,
then after that,
I think this might be a first. We have a pro, somebody actually doing the project during COVID they set out to do. I don't think I've heard of
yeah,
this ever happening. I
yeah.
certainly didn't get mine done, that's for sure. That's
Hey,
awesome. That's
yeah,
beautiful.
no, yeah. No, it was great. I was super thankful for Scott. And then he brought me in to Unearthly. And so he and I kind of co-run the Unearthly Comics label together now. And so, yeah, Gatorman Kills was the first book that Scott and I did together. Then we did another graphic novel called Stilettos, which is more of like a contemporary thriller. And we printed that one early last year, early 2024. And yeah, I talk with Scott all the time. He's one of my best friends. We're working on another new book right now that he's about halfway through drawing. But in summer of 2022, I met Dave Schuler, who's the artist who he and I did a book together that's live on Kickstarter right now
Hmm.
called The Apostasy.
Yes.
And so yeah, really excited about that. We're publishing it under the Unearthly label, but Dave, super talented, really, really awesome guy. He makes the book look great. Really excited about it.
Yeah, it looks really cool.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, no, I dig the look of it. Like the style is really neat. I like the. I've always been kind of a sucker for the black and white style with the splash of color here and there.
Oh, me
Um,
too.
it kind of shows that you're like the black like it sort of confirms that the black and white style was a choice, not necessarily a need for cost. So like the
Mhm.
idea that like 'cause you're still paying color prices for a black and white comic essentially, but you have little bits of stylistic choice in there, which is really cool. I mean,
And I love black and white
oh,
comics
ditto.
too. But yeah, both of my first two books, Gatorman Kills and Stilettos, are both black and white books. But yeah, this one, I think around the time that I wrote the script, I had like just finished a reread of Sin City.
Mhm.
And so, it just looks so cool. The coloring in it looks so cool. And so I think that was kind of on the brain, and Dave was down for it, thankfully. And yeah, really happy with how it turned out.
Yeah, well, tell me about the story. I mean, I read a little bit about it, but the
Sure.
viewer may
Yeah,
not.
no, for the
For
interview.
the
Yeah.
fan, for the fan,
Right. Right.
the
So
uninitiated, we'll
the
refer to them.
Sure. So the 3 second pitch is Lone Wolf and Cub set in hell.
Now, I'm a big Lone Wolf
Um,
and Cub fan, so that's what snaked me a little bit. I
it's
love,
just and it
well,
and
the
it's a
P,
good dynamic too, right?
yeah,
Like the
yeah.
the lone wolf and cub dynamic, it like always works. And so, I also think about like kind of recent examples of that, like the games slash TV show, The Last of Us. Um, the movie Logan with, Logan slash Wolverine and Laura slash X-23. And then, you saw it in like Game of Thrones with
Oh,
like Arya Stark and the Hound. And it's a great dynamic, right?
Leon
And
the Professional is another one that comes to mind.
exactly. Yeah,
Um,
exactly.
do you ever read Usagi Yojimbo, any of those books, like the State
No,
Supply
I
books?
have I know exactly what you're talking about, but no, I
He has
haven't dipped my toe in yet.
he has an analog for Lone Wolf and Cub in it called Lone Goat and Kid, which show
Okay,
up every
nice.
once in a while, and are really cool characters. And it's like the weathered sort of Ronin with the kid, which are with their goats,
Hmm.
obviously. But
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
it's super cool. And I've actually just got into those movies not too long ago. I've been watching I got the Criterion box set of the Lone Wolf and Cub film, so I've watched the first two
Nice.
so far, and they're so good, so much fun.
Classics.
Yeah, they're really great.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. So
So
continue.
yeah,
Sorry.
set in Hellbow. So it's the apostasy. It's about a demon named Gainsbourg, who for eons has worked as a torturer in the deepest, darkest circle of hell. So he scourges the souls of the damned, and the story is about what happens when a character like that encounters a soul that, in his mind, and that he believes doesn't deserve to be there. And this soul in question belongs to a 12-year-old girl named Katie. And so Gainsbourg and Katie, you know, they decide to basically go on a quest for answers of maybe look for a way out for her, and maybe to find out also why she would even be there. And, maybe some of those answers are surprising, but it just, the dynamic between the two of them is kind of, in my mind, the central crux of the story, really.
Mm. Why Gainsbourg for the name?
I was thinking of just different demonic names, and I think I heard a song or something by Charlotte Gainsbourg.
Hmm.
And I don't know. It was just cool, and I needed a name, and I wish I could say it was like deeper than that, but it's really not.
No, that's fine. It's like there's like Charles Gainsbourg and other people that are sort of famous, and that's I was wondering if it was connected to somebody like that, but that makes sense.
No, I just kind of liked how it sounded, honestly. I thought it was an interesting name for a demon.
Yeah, I agree. And the
Yeah.
design of him is pretty neat as well. I like the sort of I always like when you have a heroic demon because they're always like surrounded by these ridiculously monstrous versions, but the heroic one
Yeah.
always seems a little handsomer somehow. He's always like just a little better, which I
Yes.
always love.
Yeah,
it's such a
yeah.
wonderful trope to me when like demons show up and they turn out to be good because maybe they'll show up as a monster for a while, but then they'll take a simpler form, which is some handsome dude.
Sure. And this is also, I mean, this is part of, the first few pages of the book, so not like a spoiler or anything, but like when he's like torturing souls and stuff like that, he's got kind of this crazy mask
Hmm.
that he wears that, maybe makes him look more fearsome or more clinical.
Hmm.
Not really sure, but yeah, he's an interesting character for sure. And I think also because this book, touches on a lot of like the fantastical, right? Like
Hmm.
demons and hell and all of that. And it's it's this mix and like, demonic torture and everything. So it's this mix of like the fantastical and the shocking, but then also like really the banal and like very common and relatable of like, this guy, it's torturing souls is like his job to the point where he's union.
Yeah.
And he's been doing it forever. And so also kind of a question that's key to the book in my mind is if you got to do your favorite thing for eons, every day, all day, forever, would you eventually get sick of it?
Mm.
And so, I think we can all probably relate to a point where we've had to go to work and like not wanted to, or like, just gotten sick of our jobs. And even if it's something like we're good at,
Mm.
right? And so again, that mix of like demon monsters, creatures, and like all of the fantastical and the shocking, and like I think hopefully like the relatable.
Yeah. Well, did you like steep yourself in hell mythology going into this? Like, is hell something you've always been kind of, it's a concept I've always been kind of enamored with in a way, just that like as humans, we feel the need to, I mean, I don't want to get controversial if someone is religious, and no issue. But like to me, the concept that we had to create, like we have to create a reason to be good people.
Yes.
For some people need that, I guess. Like a fear of eternal damnation is enough to stop you from being a dick or murdering and raping your way through the world. Like that's all that like the concept that needs to exist. And I mean most religions, I know Jewish people don't have a version of hell, but like hell itself is in many religions. And
Sure.
the concept of it is such an interesting thing to me. I recently picked up a book that I haven't read yet, but it's called I think it's called Damnation, and it's by a writer who actually lives in Nova Scotia. After I bought the book, I was looking at the back and I was like, "Oh my God, this is cool." So he lives down in the Valley area, which is more east from where I am, but or south from where I am. But it's just like he's like some professor. He's like a writer. He's from South Africa originally, but he's lived in Nova Scotia quite a while. And he wrote this book on like it's just the history of hell, like where it
That sounds so
came.
cool.
Yeah, I know. Like where it came from, how the other religions believe in it, what the different religions' versions of it are, and our fascination as a society with it. So I think we're all like,
Yeah.
I think we need to believe that there are consequences for bad actions, and hoping, I mean, if you're religious, believing that someone that's a monster is going to burn in hell for the sins that they may not seem to have atoned for on earth. I think is
You
something that
know,
makes us all feel a little better.
I guess so. Like so for me, I where I kind of got steeped in hell was like I grew up in the church. Went
Oh,
to like
okay.
a Christian, yeah, went to a Christian high school. I'm not religious at this point in my life.
Hmm.
Yeah, religion doesn't really play much of a factor in my life. So to me, how I kind of look at it like is fantasy in a way.
Hmm.
Really not in a way, just sort of straight up. I do sort of believe notions like heaven and hell are as real as like, Middle Earth, right? Like and
Sure.
everything. And so I think getting to getting to just like look at them through the lens of like a lens of a fantasy setting to
Hmm.
me I don't know, it made it just much easier to write about, like not having like a personal really attachment to it. I do think there's a quote that I like from the first season of True Detective, which I think is
No,
just like one of the best written
I
pieces
agree.
of media maybe ever. It's just I truly think it's like a perfect season of television.
I
Like no
actually
notes.
just watched it for the first time like a few months ago. So
No way,
yeah, yeah.
dude.
So it was great. It was excellent.
Isn't it so good?
It is
Like
very
just
good.
to go to, I watched it, I think like 4 times, and it's the only thing. My dad is like 63. Like he likes watching stuff, but he doesn't binge things. It's the only
Mhm.
thing I've ever known him to binge. It's just like it's so good, specifically the first season. But there's so if you just watched it, then you probably remember that there's a line, and I think it's in one of the earlier episodes, and it's when McConaughey and Harrelson go to like this tent revival church,
Oh yes, yeah.
and they're watching just the humanity on display, and both musing back and forth in the back, like talk, and McConaughey's character not decidedly not a huge fan of religion in this story,
Mhm.
and he says, brother, if the only thing keeping someone in line is the threat of eternal damnation, then that person is a piece of shit.
Yeah.
And I really do agree,
Oh,
honestly.
100%, 100%.
Yeah, I really think that like morals and spirituality can be separated. Unfortunately, there are a lot of people who don't think so.
I mean,
But I
yeah, but like, yeah, I guess like unless you're a sociopath, you have to have empathy. Like there's studies that show that people of all races, creeds, religions, even people without discernible religions, like people who live in, the woods or in the jungle, still feel empathy. Like
yeah.
given tests to say, but and we all kind of feel about it the same way. Like I'm not getting too I guess scholarly to talk about like the trolley problem. Like that concept has been given to like even people in the jungle that don't have trains but understand, but with the concept they understood. And they said unequivocally almost the same answer every time. Whatever does the least amount of damage, it's kind of our duty to do or try to do.
Mhm.
And nobody like the idea that like I always found that most interesting, I think, when I read The God Delusion years ago, was like when he talked about that, he said how you know, we kind of all agree that if you gave them that trolley problem, you said, okay, you can make the track go one way and kill 5 people, or the other way and kill one, what would you do? Given the option, everyone says one. But then, if you could push someone on front of the train and kill them, and that would save all of them, would you do that? And then people would say no. So it's like the idea that we all agree that doing the less damage is good, but putting someone in when you're in a bad situation, but putting someone in a bad situation is morally not good. So, and we can
Mhm.
almost 100% above the board agree with that as a
Yeah.
race. So, evolutionarily, there's probably something in there about making sure we all survive so that we can help each other keep living. But there's something there, right? So, like the idea that, like, oh, I would go, rape my neighbor's wife or murder somebody tomorrow to steal all their money. If I didn't have to go to hell, then yeah, I do it right away. Like you're a fucking monster. That's all you're
Yeah.
waiting for, right?
Yeah. You
Like if the only
you
reason you don't do something is you're afraid to get the punished
get
for
punished
it.
for it.
Yeah,
You're not a good person.
no, you're a
Like that
monster.
you're just afraid of getting caught.
Yeah, yeah,
And and so it's not just that you're a good person, but you're also a coward.
yeah,
Uh, uh,
yeah. That's
uh,
good too. Yeah, I like that.
Seriously
Yeah,
though, because like, oh, I might do this if I wasn't gonna get in trouble. Like that in a way is like I think a worse self-own than like just saying like it's something you want to do. Like
yeah,
it's something you want to do, but you're too scared to do.
yeah.
And that I think is worse. But yeah, no,
Did you ever see the movie? Oh God, it's an Albert Brooks movie. It's in where he dies and goes to heaven. Um,
no.
It'll kind of mean in a minute, but he plays a guy dies and goes to heaven, and then he has to sort of the basically either you ascend to like real heaven after you die, where you like live your like whatever eternally in happiness, or you have to go back and sort of like relearn the lessons you didn't learn in life. And there's like a trial where he he's shown all of the things he's done in his life. Rip Torn's in it too, and he plays as defending your life. That's what's called. So but basically, the ultimate crime to move on to the next existence is not doing bad things. It's being cowardly. It's not actually taking a chance or a risk. So it shows him like all the times he didn't take a chance or a risk in his life more than it shows him when he made the bad decision. But even a bad decision might have been a risk, right? So it's like it's almost like the I like the concept that the afterlife rewards you for taking chances than it does not so much for the good and the bad decisions you made. Just making a decision instead of doing nothing was like what they valued. So it was an interesting idea.
That is interesting. That is interesting. I do think just because yeah, it's funny. I wrote this book about hell, and
Yeah.
like I personally like just don't believe in an afterlife. I just
Yeah,
think
but I'm
that
sure
this
J.R.
is
Tolkien didn't believe in Middle Earth, so
sure.
yeah.
Yeah. But like and so I think like just within this life, right? Like
Mhm.
it's all we get, and that's what makes the human experience so beautiful is that it is like finite and it ends, and we only
Mhm.
have so much time here and so much time to take chances, take risks,
Mhm.
and live life to the fullest, and. I would 10 times out of 10, you know, rather look back on taking a chance that maybe didn't work out than like, not taking a chance.
Mhm.
And which is, to bring it all back. I mean, one of the reasons why I started, really trying to make comics. And, I just, I kind of asked myself, if not now, when? Now is kind of the time. So like, if not now, when are you going to do this? And just like for the rest of my life, I'll always be able to say at least like hey, I tried.
Mhm.
Whether or not a joke I like to tell is I really got into making independent comics for the money. And so
Let me know when you
yeah,
get that. Let me
yeah,
know when that
yeah,
day
right,
happens.
yeah.
Yeah.
But so
That's it, like passion, right? If you're
yeah.
passionate about something, make it happen. I always say that in the community I live in, I do a lot of things. Currently, I'm managing a theater right now, like a performing arts theater. But
So cool.
yeah, that's a recent
That's
thing,
awesome.
and I think it might hopefully be a going forward thing. It was only on interim basis while the current guy was on medical leave, but he just quit. So we'll see where that goes from there.
Wow.
But yeah. So yeah, it's really rewarding work. It's great. It's really fun. The people are awesome. But I mean, I also like I host trivia. I'm a professional wrestler. I do shows around the Maritimes doing that.
Awesome.
I do
That
acting
is really,
on.
really cool, man.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, I do some acting on theater and film when I can get it. They do film quite a few things in Nova Scotia. So, it's like I told this thing years ago. The community I live in is called Truro. It's a town here. They have a local celebrity thing where they give an award to people that do stuff. And I got one. And in my speech, I just said, "Hey, I'm like." People always ask me about all the things I do, and I've always believed that if you're I hate when someone says there's nothing to do here. Like you live in New York, so there's always something to do. But I said like there's stuff to do, and if it's not here what you want, then make it be here. Like who's going to make it happen? If not you, who? Like if you sit by the door and wait for someone to build, the thing you want, it's you're going to be waiting an awful long while. So why not go do it yourself?
Could not agree more,
Yeah.
honestly. And well, congratulations on getting that
Oh,
award
thanks.
too. That's
Thanks.
really cool.
Yeah.
Um,
It's actually
yeah, but
a little plate that's right here.
oh
Um,
hey,
yeah, it's not like a big elaborate thing, but it's just like a little thing
hey,
that some local people put on. But hey, true it is.
dude,
Yeah, no,
that
yeah, no.
that's sick, man.
Yeah,
That's
it's cool.
awesome. No, I've always said, and this means a little less now that I live in New York City, but I've always just said my superpower is that it's impossible for me to get bored.
Perfect.
Like
Yeah,
I kind of just don't get it, honestly,
yeah.
because like you have nothing to do. You have like,
There's
even
no
if it's
books
like
where you live, no movies,
right,
no, yeah,
you
no,
can't pull up YouTube and like throw on like something fun to watch. Like, yeah,
yeah,
you can't find like even if it's as simple as like, I don't know, watching a TV show or a movie or you open a
yeah.
book up or like write something or like go for a walk.
What
Like
that
it doesn't
usually
have
means is there's something specific you want to do that you can't do right now. It doesn't just mean that you're, like when people say I'm bored, it's usually because there's something they want to be doing that they can't. So
I guess, but then like find something else to do.
that's what I mean. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
the world's your oyster, man. Get out there.
Exactly. Exactly.
So finally crossing that world and getting into writing, like that must have been, what was the learning curve like for you? Like, were you predominantly, like, were you familiar with I mean, you read comics, but were you familiar with the concept of writing them and the general way that goes about, like the style and the way you write those sort of? More scripts, like almost like a movie script, I guess.
Yeah, comic book script. A comic book script is like a super specific style of writing, which I learned. I actually like I really read books.
Mm-hmm.
There's some really great books out there for anybody learning more about like wanting to make comics or like write scripts. The best two that I read were they were both by Scott McCloud,
Oh
and
yes.
he did, so you'll probably know Understanding Comics,
Mm-hmm.
and then he did a sequel that was okay, but he did a third one called Making Comics. And
Yep.
Understanding Comics and Making Comics by Scott McCloud. Those books are amazing. Those books are really, really good. There was another book that I got, I think, by Mark Neese that was just called, I think it was like writing comic book
Mm-hmm.
scripts or something, like
Yep.
pretty standard. And then I read one of the old it was like it was maybe an I like by Will Eisner or something. Um,
Oh yeah. The graphic novel one.
I believe so.
Oh, what's it called?
I believe so. I'm looking it up. Oh yeah, comics and sequential art.
Yes, yes, that's it.
Yeah, yeah. And so I read like all these books and taught me how to write a little bit as well, and also trial and error. And also, what's great too actually is in like a lot of like trade paperbacks and hardcovers of books and stuff, they'll include like an artist script in the
Mm-hmm.
back.
Yeah.
And I love that shit. Like I
Oh, me
just
too.
and it's so funny because like comics are such like a niche already, but then you take something like a comic script, like I don't know if anything more niche than like a comic book script, right?
I
And
love those artist editions, like the massive ones where you can see the original art, like where they have them
yeah,
blown
dude,
up full size. You can see where they whited out, where they went over, where they crossed over this. They put a piece of paper to cover that. Like it's so cool.
it's so cool. Yeah,
Yeah.
I love all that stuff. But yeah, so getting to like see those and like just see how different people write different scripts. I remember in one of the 100 Bullets like editions that I read, they included the full script for this one issue, and like I remember like going back and forth specifically and like just seeing like how a master like Azzarello does it, and so yeah, doing a lot of reading and just like educating myself on how a comic book script actually worked was like a huge learning curve. And now I just have like grown to love writing comic scripts because like it's really like kind of orderly in a way. And to me,
Mhm.
it's almost like you're doing more of a puzzle than anything because the first thing you always do is figure out exactly how long the story you're telling it is,
Mm.
like the number of pages and the number of panels. So then you're figuring out just like where your narrative beats fall into like that structure that you've established. And I just like, I don't know, it's fun and like really, really satisfying.
Do you find it hard to do you find it hard to let it leave it in the hands of an artist, like to interpret it?
No, you gotta, so as like as somebody who writes and can't draw,
Hmm.
first of all, hats off to the people that can do both. Like that's absolutely incredible. Don't know how you do it. I cannot do that. Um, so as somebody who writes and doesn't draw though, like everybody has to understand if you're going to get into making comics, like it is inherently a collaborative medium.
Hmm.
And so like I think as a writer, you have to trust your artist. Like you have to, and with my scripts too, and I've been lucky enough to work with two artists that like, we talk on the phone and like can talk things through and like have like, just dialogue about where our heads are at, our processes and things like that. But like I really don't try to get too descriptive.
Mm.
If something like really is key to the story, like I'll call it out for sure, or I'll make like a note and, explain that. And but I really I like to kind of stay as high level as possible with panel descriptions and focus more on just overall action and the dialogue, and really let the artist kind of do their thing. And I think if you are a writer who like doesn't have that trust and you're like always sending back notes and like if you have like a really specific vision that your artist partner isn't
Hmm.
seeing like that's got to be tough, but I don't think that's the really the correct mindset to have when
Hmm.
going into something as collaborative as making comics with somebody else.
Yeah. No, that's the right attitude for sure. Especially when like you look at like major comics where it's like, back in the day, especially before kind of things got a lot streamlined with digital, like being able to do things digitally, where it was like the writer, then the penciler, then the inker, then the colorist, and a lot of times now because the nature of technology, it's easier for the inker, colorist, penciler to be all be the same person. So it's like it seems to go way faster in some regards that way. But now you have whole studios. Like I was remember being very interested when I was looking at comics. I think it was when Gillian was doing those was doing Iron Man. And I noticed that like the coloring was done by Guru FX. So it wasn't even
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
a person, it
Mhm.
was a like a studio. So there's
Yeah.
like a whole, bunch of people that are probably just working together to get these pages done.
Hmm.
Which is neat. It's kind of cool. It's a sort of an eye-opening experience considering how it used to go.
Totally. And
Yeah.
side note, I love Kieran Gillen too.
Yeah.
You're name dropping a lot all like my favorite writers. So I would say like Stephen King's my favorite non-comics writer.
Oh yeah, that's
And
fair.
I do think Kieran Gillen actually is my favorite comics writer right now.
Really?
Yeah.
I've read the stuff I've read I've really enjoyed. I haven't read like was it The Wicked and the Divine? Was that him? I don't think I've read those.
Yes.
Yes, okay.
That's my favorite thing by him.
Oh, really? Okay.
Um, it's incredible. It's actually I would say top five comic series ever, full stop.
Really? Well,
Yeah. Yeah, I
my
would.
I usually grab like Alan Moore. I mean, he hasn't done comics in a long time, but Warren Ellis, Grant Morrison, Neil Gaiman, Joe Hill. Those are some of my favorites.
I
Um,
love me some Grant Morrison
yeah,
for
I'm
sure.
he can
I
love everything he does.
Morrison's awesome. Um, I'm a huge X-Men fan, so I love Morrison. I love Morrison's
Oh
new
yeah,
X-Men.
yeah, me too.
It's one of my favorite
Dan
runs.
Slott's someone I really love too, and Bendis I used to really like as well. I still like him, but I just haven't read much of his stuff lately.
You,
I-
you mentioned Neil Gaiman,
mm.
and like, it fucking sucks, man, because like
I know.
he's so the thing that sucks about it is that he hurt people and is awful,
Oh yeah,
but also the thing that sucks about it is he's such a great writer, like
yeah.
truly an incredible writer, and so like Sandman is something else I would put in like
Mhm.
maybe top five all time as
Yeah,
well.
deservedly so.
Um, it's incredible. And then like, like some of his books like American Gods and like um Fragile Things and like, all of that. It's like so heartbreaking and
Yeah.
it feels like such a betrayal on so many ways. So like
But I
I
feel
really
like
struggled.
yeah, I know. What I feel like is worse, it's kind of like when Joss Whedon got in shit too. It's sort of like the people that seem to be really vocal to be like, I'm an ally, like I'm like
No.
it's all about making sure like the sexes are equally represented, the races, the genders, everything. Like, they seem so like open and accepting and cool and like not bowing to like societal pressure to make all your stories fit within a certain sort of narrative that revolves around a certain type of person or something that looks like someone who looks like a certain type of person. So the idea about that, you're like, oh yeah, this guy's like just a really nice, good, kind-hearted person that is like not afraid to stand up to bullies when it comes to like the people that are generally marginalized by society, transgender folks or LGBTQ or minorities or anything,
Mhm.
and even like gender swapping the characters in the Netflix show and not apologizing for that and changing the character's race, even though like death's so what the hell is a race? Like all of that, and you're like, oh well, he's so like cool and whatever, and then this comes out, and you're like, of course,
Of
he's so
course.
yeah, like it's like it just sucks. You like other, I guess the people that like Grant Morrison's an example. He's someone that I highly hold in high regard. I've never heard anything relating to anything like this about him. So, but there are others. I guess the people that don't like that generally live good lives. It's not like there's a spotlight put on them all the time, right? Gaiman just was very vocal about it. Maybe that is part of the smokescreen that led him to kind of be a bit predatory when it came to women.
I think also through his writing
Yes,
too,
yes, yeah,
he like the stories that he told, like he showed us that he knows what like warmth is and
yeah,
he knows what kindness is because he wrote characters that like express those virtues,
yes,
right? And so well. He wrote them so well and so
yes,
believably.
yeah, yeah,
And so through that too, right? Like not like and so it's really it's sad and disappointing and maddening on every level. And it feels like deception in a way too. But that being said, I'll always love Sandman. And like and
You
so
can
I
still like I honestly don't believe that you should have to not. I once heard someone say, like the work, not the jerk, right? Like whatever. Like if the book stands, you can listen to your Michael Jackson album, whatever. Like, hang up your Hitler painting if you want. I'm kidding.
do you remember or like a couple years ago, do you know, and this guy's awesome. This is a cool, like not a
uh,
bad guy.
yeah.
The comedian Jim Downey
Oh
was
yeah.
on Conan O'Brien's podcast, and he
Yep.
had that bit about like, oh, Jeff Epstein, the New York financier.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
It's like,
yeah.
oh, Adolf Hitler, the painter, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
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 My brother one time I was over at his place and he had a folk album on and I like folk music and I was like, oh, this is really cool. I'm like, I like this. So I'm like, who is this? He goes, oh, Charles Manson, and I'm like, fuck off. And he showed me the jacket. It was like Charles Manson's folk album that he recorded back before the cult and all that sort
Like
of stuff.
before he did
Yeah, yeah.
the stuff, the
And I'm like,
cults and
oh
the
shit, it's people are made up of multitudes. Some are great, some are monsters. I truly think that there's something very unique in the human condition that we are capable of such wonderful things and such horrible things. And sometimes both of those things are in the same person. And that's
sure.
what's even more interesting kind of part of it.
No,
You
no one is ever all good or all bad,
no, you
I
can be
think.
a horrible racist that loves animals and rescues them. Like there's somewhere in
Yeah.
between that like that's such a human thing. It's like it's
Hmm.
almost you can't define it. You can't be like humans are all good, humans are all bad. Some are both, and some are like they're both. And also many of that is in the same person. People make mistakes, people learn from it, people grow, but some people do truly horrible things, but then also do great things too. So I don't know. It's strange. It's
Yeah, when it comes to, I think the line that I try to draw is like, I don't know, separate, there are definitely belief systems and people have things that they believe that I
oh
definitely disagree with
oh yeah.
strongly. But I think to me, one beliefs are one thing, and then like harm is another thing. So
Hmm.
like if you're hurting people, animals, the earth, like, and you can, that is, I think that's what I found to be just like my line, right? And, but again, I'm not a perfect guy. I
No.
just wrote some comic books, but I'm by no means like a moral authority or anything like that.
No, and it's usually the people that claim to be that are the worst of us. So,
Yeah,
in my
true.
opinion,
Yeah,
um,
I agree, sadly.
what I find the most egregious, I mean, there's a lot of obviously besides really horrific crimes, is like the kind of like the people that know better but pander to, but just pander because they'll get support or they'll get money or they'll get
Yeah.
fame or whatever. Like, you say what you want about what any of these sort of controversial figures, political figures or whatever, or podcasters, and you're like, surely you know better. But the people I don't think Alex Jones actually thinks that lizard people rule the world, and
No, he
and there
doesn't.
and there really were crisis actors and all that in that school in Sandy Hook shooting. Like I just think he pandered to the people that want to believe it and buy his bone broth or whatever the shit he's
He just
selling.
likes money.
Yeah, exactly.
He just likes money, and he
Yep.
found a group
Yep.
that he knew he could get money from. I completely agree with that. I don't think Marjorie Taylor Greene believes in Jewish space lasers.
No.
I think
But what's worse, like a
she
racist or someone that panders to them and knows better? Like
I
so like that to me that's where I kind of be like, well, I don't know. Like there's a lot of reasons why you could be racist because you grew up in a you were taught that you grew up in a a society or an area where a lot of people around you, the people that raised you, believe that sort of thing. So it's you can be taught that and kind of carry it on. But the idea that you know better and still actively promote things that could harm others just because it'll put some money in your pocket to me is like such a horrible thing. So
I mean, you're doing harm in that way, right?
Yes.
Like that's where it goes to the beliefs versus harm.
Yeah.
Like someone, it doesn't matter what this grifter believes.
Hmm.
The fact that they know better is almost irrelevant to me.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I like, if someone holds some screwy backwater beliefs and like keeps it to themselves, like
Yeah.
I wish they were different, but
Hmm.
everybody's entitled to think their own thoughts and have their beliefs, and that's fine. But when somebody is like espousing it, that's like harm, like spreading lies,
Yeah.
like and then additionally like scamming people. Like it's a crazy world we live in, man.
Mm.
It's awesome. I don't. And maybe it's just always maybe there have always been grifters around. I think actually
Oh, I
definitely there
I
have
think
been.
I think the day money was invented, the next day grifting was
Yeah.
invented. Like I'm
That
sure,
yeah, no.
like
That
I'm
that's
sure
that's
when
got to be
someone
true.
realized they could trick someone out of their money, is it's probably the same day or the next day that that occurred.
They're like, "Hold on, you're telling me that I can get that guy to give me his money?"
Yeah,
Oh, okay, cool. Let's do it.
yeah.
Um that's what, and man, we see it with in the US churches, like these huge mega churches that are raking in millions and millions and
Oh
millions
yeah,
of dollars
yeah.
and paying nothing in taxes. And like it's so cliche to say, but like so I mentioned I went to like a Christian high school.
Yeah.
And I won't name any names or anything, but there was a kid I went to high school with whose dad was the lead pastor at this like big church in our area that's really
Hmm.
popular. I think people would probably accurately refer to it as like a mega church. It was like
Okay.
really big. And his dad got busted and had to step away from his duties because he was, drum roll, siphoning church funds away so he could buy a private jet. And
Mhm.
it's like and so it was funny being like kind of a
It
stat, like seeing
always
that, like,
always
oh, that is
happens.
actually something that people do in real life.
It
It's not
always
it
happens. You just
Yeah,
wait. Like just I think Osteen's the only one who's managed to go as long as he has without having some kind of controversy bring him down. But almost everyone else, you just wait. And
sure.
whenever they talk about the most is what they're probably doing. If their whole thing is fire and brimstone about gay people, you can almost be assured they're going to get caught with a gay, like they're going to be caught with another guy in some sexual situation,
Yep.
or like you can almost set your watch to it. It's like it's
Yeah.
insane. It's
It's a
like
safe bet.
yeah, yeah, it's just such a yeah, that mega church thing I find interesting. I read recently, and I don't know how much truth there is because the internet's full of stuff that's like, hey, this is this, and but it
Sure.
was like
Yeah.
some woman, I think on TikTok or something, did a study or a project where she called like all these different churches, I think like 60 or 70,
Yes.
claiming that she didn't have money for her formula for her child, and not a single one of them would like say, "Oh, come here, we'll give you food or give you whatever." And then she went to like drug dealers in the area and told them on street corners, and they gave her money to get food for her child. So like that's the world we live in. Like the people that are peddling poison are willing to take money out of their pockets to help somebody with a sick kid, and the church is like, well, we can't take a risk on this, or we can't give away a resource.
Like tough. They're like, oh man, that sucks. Good luck.
Yeah, I'll pray for you. Thanks. Bye. Click.
Ah,
Yeah, I'll
that
pray for
really
you.
sucks though. I'm gonna be thinking about you for
Well,
sure. Good
I'm on
luck.
my
That
private jet to the Poconos, but I'll be
Yeah,
thinking about you.
I actually gotta catch a flight on my G6 airplane that I bought because people wanted to make God like them and sent me money. But
But I'll be
yeah,
praying.
yeah.
I'll be praying for
But
you.
I'll be thinking about you really hard though, and I'll put a word in with the
Yeah.
big guy. Um
Yeah.
yeah, no, I know. Crazy times, man.
Yeah. I mean, like I went through the Catholic thing when I was a kid as well.
Mhm.
Not like my parents aren't dogmatic, like my mom still goes to church and stuff. The funny thing I'd always say is that my mother would take us, so she's an Anglican, and we would go to her church on Sunday. My father was Catholic, and his church was on Saturday evening at like 6 or something. So mom would take us to dad's church. Dad would never come. And then we would go on Saturday. So we went to the church that we were baptized in, me and my brother. And then Sunday we go to her church, the Anglican church. But like the I remember sitting in religion class and listening to the religious teacher talk, and she said something along the lines of gay people are going to hell, and I had a cousin that I was pretty sure was gay. I was right.
Hmm. Yeah.
And that like animals don't have souls. Not that I really believe in a soul now, but at the time I was like, I'm like my cat has a soul. And then I was like, and that like animals and the planet are all just put here to make humans' lives better, so it's okay that we use them up, and we're kind of not we're not super respectful to them. And I'm like, oh Jesus! Like everything she said was a litany of stuff that I was like, I got to get out of here. So the second I kind of could get out to the point that I could make my decision and not go anymore is when I did. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's good.
and it's the church, very of various faiths. Just the
It's
one that
not
I
all
have.
bad for sure. Like, I'm not saying they do bad. Like, there's a lot of great stuff the church does
They
too.
do
But
some great stuff, but then they
sir,
also do a lot of bad stuff. But because I think that a church or really any organization is just like going to reflect the people in it, right?
yeah,
And churches across all faiths are like man-made constructs. And so and again, I'm coming from somebody who doesn't necessarily believe in like God or anything, but it like the church being fallible is not a referendum on like God being fallible or infallible. The church
mhm,
is just like run by people. And
yeah,
so, and like people, it's capable of great good and capable of great harm.
yeah.
I think I don't know. It's an important distinction. We have really like, man, that we got deep there. That was
That's what
I
we
sort
do
of just
here. That's what we
I
do
just
here.
sort of realized I was like, damn, we're talking about like morality and like
Yeah,
good and evil and like wow,
that's
that's pretty nice. Yeah, happy Monday.
yeah. We like to keep it light here.
Yeah, sure. Sure.
Yeah, we're gonna talk next about dying puppies. I feel like no,
Yeah, yeah. Great.
I have some
Yes.
with me. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh.
Me and some friends went and watched that new Brendan Fraser movie that just came out earlier, the Rental Family, where
Okay.
he's a guy lives in
He goes to
Japan.
Japan
He's an
and
actor,
yeah.
literally lives there, but he gets hired by the service that hires you to lie to people, to help people. And maybe someone needs a friend. You can pretend like you're their lifelong friend, or there's a bunch of stories, but like they sort of like are hitting a lot of the beats. It's a very heartwarming movie, but they're hitting a lot of the beats of the things that are going to pull your heartstrings. There's like the little
Huh.
girl without the dad, the old man that's dying, the person that wants to marry the person they really want to marry but needs to convince their parents that they're marrying the person they want them to so they can be happy. Like all of these things. So you're hitting almost every beat. And I leaned over to my friend. I said, I said something with a dog. It's got to be next. We've hit almost every single emotional heartstring, and that one didn't come quite yet. So
Were you right? Did something with the
I
dog
think I'm gonna have
happen?
to. I'm gonna have to. Well, no, I can't. I can't. That's as a horror fan, I can watch everything in horror. When something happens to the dog, is when I'm like,
Okay.
oh man, like come on, let the dog get away.
I know.
Um,
I know. You cheer for a dog in like every movie. Even if like the dog is like the bad guy,
oh yeah.
you're still gonna low
I,
key
I
cheer
want
for it.
I wanted Cujo to eat that family. I think he deserved it. Screw you.
Yeah.
What's her? I always forget her name. D Wallace. That was the mom in that. Yeah, and I don't remember what the
You're
kid's
so
name was. But
sad.
yeah, yeah.
It's so sad.
Well, the book's even worse. Like the
I
movie
know.
actually.
No, I
Yeah, yeah, oh
know.
yeah. I guess you would, of course. So the I remember it was the Stephen King quote where he said like he was in the midst of his drinking problem. That he said he doesn't remember writing Cujo, and he's like, it's a
Yeah.
shame. It's a good book. So, but yeah,
He, he
because the kid dies in it, right? In the original,
yeah. Yeah.
so
In the car. Yeah.
yeah,
And
so
also just like the POV parts from Cujo's
yeah,
perspective of like he doesn't know what's going on. It's
yeah,
so sad.
yeah,
Like,
yeah,
oh, yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Me and my friend always laugh about how like when horror movies give you the something bad's got to happen to the guy to put him on the path to whatever's going down. And we always laugh about Pumpkinhead because you see like the whole movie leading up until the kid dying is like this wonder. He's always playing with him and lifting him up, and he's the cutest little kid in the world. You know it's coming, and then you're just like, God damn it.
Brutal,
Um,
man. Brutal, brutal, brutal.
well, we talked about like um, morality and all that sort of stuff. And horror movies generally are kind of like mini morality plays in their own right. They usually, if they're a good one, they usually have something to say about the human condition of some kind. And like they're fun ones where it's just people slashing people away. But like Pumpkinhead's a great meditation on like just revenge and like what like is it really worth it to give yourself over to needing to hurt the person that hurt you and how important forgiveness might be, or at least trying to find some semblance of it. But I noticed you have records there, which I'm also a fan. So
Yeah.
before
Yeah.
I have many, many records in another room. But before I let you go, because I've already had you for enough time,
Yeah.
suggest one record that our listeners may not have heard that's worth
Um,
checking out. And by
sure.
listeners, I mean me. What should I
Yeah,
listen to?
I'll grab it. I'll show you.
Oh, you got it right there. Okay.
All right. So it's coming up backwards right now, but
Yep.
J. Paul. He's got an album and you can stream it or I just got this at a music festival. But he is this like super, and this sounds cliche to say a lot of the times, but it's really, really true. He's this super mysterious, I guess you could call it like alternative R&B singer. This is his only album, and he made it back in 2013. And then somebody leaked it online, and this was back when it was like leaked as like MP3 files,
Yeah.
right? And so a bunch of people downloaded it, myself included, because he had like only two singles out at the time. And so yeah, they leaked this record and a bunch of people downloaded it, and then he had like a meltdown and like just canceled the whole thing and then went into like seclusion and didn't put out any music for like I think like 10 years or something.
Oh my
Like
God.
none of it. And so then he finally the so this record and the record that's on streaming services is his unfinished album that he officially released like just a couple, maybe like 5 or so years ago. And it's
Wow.
like all the tracks are labeled unfinished, like and it's so good. Like it's all super, super ethereal, really, really funky, super like original sound, like some of my favorite songs, and it's just really really cool. And I actually finally he's done like I think less than like 30 concerts ever, and
Wow.
he played at Pitchfork Festival last summer in Chicago.
Yeah, I
And I
see
got to
he
I
writes a lot for other people now, looks like.
Yes, he
Yeah.
does. He's a big songwriter and everything. But
Wow. Cool.
J Paul's record, it's really really awesome, special record.
That's awesome. Thank you. As a record, like a music fan, I'm always looking for something new and interesting. So sometimes when I find out someone is like, "What's one of your records that I may not know about that I could
Yeah,
learn, I could listen to?" So
yeah.
that
There
sounds
you
good.
go.
I'll take that one. That sounds great. I'll give you one too.
Cool. Yes.
Mort Garson was a Canadian music creator. He was one of the first people to do synth music, like as we know with synthesizers.
Yeah. Cool.
So early on, way back when, I believe Sears, I think it was, had contracted him to make a record that you're supposed to play to help your plants grow. So when people bought plants from Sears, you would get this record and you put it in your record player and it'll help your plants grow. It's recently been kind of rediscovered and then re-put out, so you can buy it on vinyl now. It's not too expensive, but it's called Plantasia, like Fantasia, but Plantasia.
Plantasia.
And it's one of if you're having a bad day, if you like synth music, if you're having a bad
Yeah.
day, just put it on. And it's one of the most calming, relaxing things you can listen to. It's actually the song I have on my phone to wake me up from my alarm when I wake up in the morning, because it's just such a pleasant, nice thing to wake up to instead of like a an alarm screaming at you. So yeah, it's right there. It's on
Got
streaming.
it.
You can get it. Mort Garson is the guy's, and he has other albums too that are all synth ones too. But check that one out. It's one that a lot of people heard of, but it's always kind of a unique one. So
Okay. Sweet. Yeah. Noted. It's saved in my Spotify, so
oh,
I will
beautiful.
definitely listen to it.
Well, I'm just gonna. You got one more subscriber for the digital copy of your book as well from
Oh,
here. So
thanks a lot, man.
no
Thanks a
problem.
lot,
So
man.
yeah,
That's
just tell us where the Kickstarter is, where they can find it, or what it's under, and
Yes, yeah. We went down a pretty significant rabbit hole, but yeah, I have a book on Kickstarter. It's called The Apostasy. It's yeah, if you search The Apostasy on Kickstarter, you will find it for sure. Also, though, check out the Unearthly Comics Instagram profile. It's at Unearthly Comics. That link is in the bio there too. So if you can't find it on Kickstarter, use the link in our Instagram bio. It'll take you right there.
awesome. Well, thank you so much, Nick. It's been a pleasure talking to you.
Yeah, no, Andre, this was super cool, man. Thanks for having me on.
Oh, dude, anytime. Talk to you soon.
Yeah, bye.
Good night. There you have it, my talk with Nick Edwards. What a cool chat, eh? Like I said, it cooks. It's really cooking. It's really jiving. It's really going. It's really flipping. It's flopping. It's happening. And it's good. It's a really good talk and a really great way to close off the year. Like I said, in the past, sometimes they come easy. Sometimes they come a little harder. This one came real easy. Real easy, which is always nice. So big thanks to Nick for being on the show. Big thanks to Jeff Haas for making it a reality. He was a previous guest on the show and tends to send guests my way sometimes, and I thank him for that because it's nice. It's nice sometimes to have someone out there helping you out. Like Davin as well is one of those. So, and I haven't lit a fire under him to give me a new guest yet because I've been busy, but things are starting to crack open a little bit. So, should have some new ones in the hopper coming down the pipeline. Some cool folks as well. So. So have a Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and all that good stuff. If I have a new episode before New Year's, I'll have it up. I doubt it will happen. I think it'll be January before we're back. It's been a nice little break. I say break in that it's like I'm doing nothing, but it's nice to have a little more time in between some of the stuff I'm doing to live my life, see my wife, pet my cats, that kind of fun stuff. So, so I'm going to probably enjoy that until the new year, and then we'll be back hopefully in January with some new episodes, and we're going to keep it rolling. Like I said, it might not be every week. I'm going to try, but we'll be here and we'll have new episodes for you. So big thanks to you for being a patron, for listening, tuning in. Big thanks for Nick for being on this episode. And yeah, Happy New Year, Happy Holidays. I hope Santa's good to you, and I hope he brings you lots of comics. Lots and lots of comics. You deserve lots of comics. This program is a proud part of the Swear to Pod Network.